Good morning, sports fans, and welcome to the Saturday Morning Sports Show here on 97.3 WRUL and 93.3 WROY AM 1460. Cole Carter with you alongside Travis Black, JC Tinsley across the hallway getting us on the air. I want to thank all of our sponsors for the Saturday Morning Sports Show. They are Rice Motor Company, Cherry Street Automotive, Citizens National Bank, Nancy J. Winter CPA, First Mid Bank and Trust, Hale Body Shop, Roark Transport, Farrell Hospital, Little Giant Grocery Outlet, Jordan Funeral Group, Wabash Christian Therapy, Bush & Associates CPAs, Taylor Eye Care, People's National Bank, Hamilton Memorial Hospital, Rush Appliance, Wabash General Hospital, Boomtown Solar Energy, First Bank, and Carmi Lumber. Well, last night, the Carmi-White County Bulldogs, a big win on the road over Hamilton County by a final score of 52-35. Carmi improves to 7-2 on the season. And Travis, really the most impressive part of that game, the Bulldogs outscored Hamilton County 17-5 in the third quarter. They had a 1-point lead at the half, and they go on to win by, 17 points. I just thought it was a great second half, all in all, by the Bulldogs.
I mean, yeah, that's probably the best second half they've had all year, because normally Carmi has a really great first half, and then that third quarter kind of is a lull period until they, pick it up towards the end and go into the fourth. But they did a great job coming out of the half and, extending their lead, and they played extremely well in that third quarter. I mean, what else can you say? They forced like 4 straight turnovers for Hamilton County, and Hamilton County shot well from the field last night. Just Carmi's defense forcing all those turnovers just really was the difference in the ball game.
And I really thought just the effort by the guys in general, the effort, the way they're moving offensively, the way they were just everywhere defensively. I mean, just a totally different team than what we saw on Wednesday, of course, when they played Benton. And, we won't talk about that game very long because it's just one of those games that you just put it behind you. But I was so impressed with how the guys came out, especially, like I said, there in the third and fourth quarter compared to how they played on Wednesday. If that team shows up every night, there's not many teams, especially in the Black Diamond Conference, that can beat Carmi.
Yeah, if they come out like that with that intensity, that effort, I mean, they're hard to beat. I mean, the Black Diamond Conference is going to be in for it this year if they can play like that every night. I mean, that Wednesday night game against Benton, I told you, Cole, they just need to forget it, have a short-term memory, but use it as motivation, here going forward. Like, we can be beat if we don't come out and play well and, bring our effort and energy. And they fixed it last night. I mean, what else can you say about that game? I mean, they played extremely hard offensively and defensively.
Talking about defensively, and we'll hear what head coach Kevin Wolf said about this last night after the game, but, Carmi, obviously when you face Hamilton County, especially this year, your game plan is how are you going to stop Wyatt Hampson, the 6'8" senior down low. He's been a 2-year starter there, and that's kind of been every team that plays Hamilton County, that's their number one mindset is how you're going to stop him. Kevin Wolf comes out, first couple possessions, puts Tyler Gomat, who's got about 6 inches shorter than Hampson, puts him on there, and you made a good point during the broadcast, Travis. That wasn't necessarily because of height. It's because of kind of the physicality that Gomat has down in the post. I thought Gomat did well until he got 2 fouls. Had to come out. Then Wolf switched things up, put Mitchell Edwards on him. I thought Mitchell did a great job.
Yeah, I mean, he started out with Gomat and then having Bryce and Mitchell kind of help over, for lobs over the top and let Gomat, take the, physical responsibility of trying to, push him out of the paint. And I mean, early on, McLeansboro really didn't post him up that much. They kind of were running a 5-out like spread, and he was moving all over the court. And then that second half came around, and they decided we're just going to throw him in the post. And I mean, Carmi did a great job with 5 guys with feet in the paint to help over on him, and that's what really, shifted the tide in the game was when they could slow him down and slow down McLeansboro's offense in turn.
It's the first time we've seen Carmi face a team that's got kind of a post player as their best player, I guess you could say, someone that they run their offense through. And there was so many times last night, Travis, Hamilton County was moving the ball around, and there was 4 or 5 maroon jerseys surrounding Wyatt Hampson in the post. And Kevin Wolf and his staff did a great job at game planning, and defensively they took care of business. I think Hampson had 14 points. I know at least 4 of those came on times when we just went for a steal and he was left wide open. But you short him to 14 points. I think that's pretty good.
I mean, yeah, it's always good because that just slows up their offense. Normally, he'd probably have around his 18 to 20, and then when all that much defensive attention's on him, then the others get going. Well, Carmi did a good job of not letting the others get going and still having enough attention on him. They did a good job at fronting him in the post and having back or help over the backside, denying him the ball, pushing him out as far as they can on the floor. I mean, he's a load down there, and Carmi's not going to face anyone as big as him.
Probably not.
for maybe till sectional time, but we'll cross that bridge when we come to it. But yeah, he's a good player, and Carmi did a good job at slowing him down last night, and in turn slowing down McLeansboro.
Also defensively, when you're asked to play defense for 90 seconds, 2 minutes at a time, because Hamilton County, Doug Miller, we know he loves taking this time, rather it's just hanging on to the basketball near midcourt or passing it around 5 out, as we mentioned.
Yeah.
Carmi did, and Travis, as a player, when you're there defensively for 90 seconds, 2 minutes, your legs start to wear out on you, but Carmi thought it did a great job when Hamilton County wanted to kill some clock and be really patient. The Bulldogs didn't bend at all defensively.
Yeah, it's not just your legs; it's your mentality, because you've been sitting there and you're so focused, and you're like, well, we've been here for a minute and a half. Why don't I go for a steal real quick? And that's when they get you. I mean, Doug Miller's known he'll win a game 2-0 if he can. I mean, he will hold on to that basketball, and it's a smart strategy. You don't give it the ball to the other team. They can't really go down and score, can you?
Yeah.
And with Carmi's high-powered offense, I mean, that's just good strategy. And I mean, Carmi did a good job at not really too often getting caught losing their focus on defense. They if they went for a steal, it was in a smart situation. Sometimes they got it, sometimes they didn't. But then they had good rotation on the backside to help for that person who was a little bit out of position. But Carmi did a good job on defense, just limiting their mistakes and also, working towards what they wanted to do to get going to the other end.
I thought Landon Driscoll played really well on the offensive end. 18 points, leading scorer. It's the second time this year that he scored 18+. And Travis, last night, early on, the shots weren't really falling for Bryce Conner or Mitchell Edwards. I don't have my scoring total from last night with me, but I know Landon had 18 points, but Travis, we're really starting to see bits and pieces of what he can do, not only as a three-point shooter, but getting inside. How many times last night did he go right at Wyatt Hampson, trying to go around him and somehow get these layups to go? I thought he played really well, and Tyler Gomet really well on the offensive end as well.
Yeah, those two are keys. And when Mitchell's not going and Bryce isn't going early on, they were so focused on Bryce that they were Hamilton County was clogging the paint. And they were letting, they had Wyatt Hampson pulled in. He was guarding Gomet. So Gomet, would be open about 15 feet. And he was hitting those shots early on, which, was really helping, pull him out of the paint. And, Landon Driscoll is always a key. I mean, he's an offensive weapon onto himself. I mean, this kid can go for 20, 25 if he needs to on certain nights. And some nights he doesn't have it going, but last night he had it going. And not just from the three-point line, but he was really going to the basket with some authority. And he was taking some bumps where you honestly could have, had a three-point play here or there, but he was getting his little, up and under layups to go. And, I mean, he's unstoppable when he has that going.
Again, Bulldogs won last night at Hamilton County 52-35. Here's what head coach Kevin Wolf had to say after the win.
Well, Coach, I think a lot of people were kind of worried about what happened on Wednesday, but I'll tell you what, that was a different team that came out and played tonight for Carmi.
Man, it was a good second half. And a good first half for the most part. I just told the guys, Coach Miller, and really every coach who's been here, they'll do whatever it takes to win a basketball game, whether it's holding it out front, running their Galesburg. Coach Miller did a good job, and they kind of had us in a bind, but at halftime, we talked about every conference game, especially on the road, is going to be a grind. Not every game is going to be, where you go out and win by 15, 18, and just from the get-go. So the guys did a good job buckling down. I think once we settled in and understand it was going to be a four-quarter game, guys did a good job.
I thought defensively, obviously, your number one game plan is how you're going to stop Wyatt Hampson. You start out with Gomet. He gets 2 fouls, and you throw Edwards on there afterwards. I thought Mitchell did a great job. Mitchell only scored, 10 points tonight, something like that. But I thought defensively, he stepped it up and did a great job on Hampson.
Yeah, he did. He's a load in there. And we were just trying to front him and then have backside help. And for the most part, we did that. A few times we got lost a little bit. But he's going to do that. If you can try to keep him under 12 or 14, you're going to be in pretty good shape when you're playing them. And they wanted to slow the game down too. So I know, Mitchell only had the 10, but it was a different pace of game. So those 10 in a normal pace of game may have been more like 16 or 18, with the pace. So I thought our guys did a good job of, like I said, in the second half, just understanding that pace. And the first half was the first half. We were up by 1, settled in, wanted to do a few things to their Galesburg that we did, and we got a steal, and was able to do that. The guys just played fantastic in the second half. We shared the ball. We talked a bunch about when you get it in the paint, whenever 6'8's in there, it's going to be tough to score. So we have to have our eyes up and see who else is open. And I thought we did a great job of passing. Just that second half was how I want us to play and how the guys, I think, want to play. And I think it showed what we're capable of there in that second half in a tough environment against a good team.
I thought Landon Driscoll played really well, too. He had 18 points. And another night where Bryce, the shots weren't falling early. Mitchell, the shots weren't falling. Your junior really stepped up. Driscoll did.
Yeah, he did. He had a great game, handling the ball, getting to the bucket, knocking down some shots. He's a good player. And like I said, I mean, teams are going to focus. We're what are we, 9 games in now? I mean, teams know now what teams want to do. We want to get the ball to Bryce around the bucket. We want to set Mitchell up for 3-point shots. Teams are going to start taking that away. So now it's the other guys' time to step up and see what they can do and see what we can do as a coaching staff to get some other guys involved. And that's what we need. Whenever Landon steps up like that, and I thought Tyler Gomat offensively did a good job. He hit the 3. We told him Doc for Benton kind of laid off of him a little bit to help protect the paint for whenever Bryce gets down there. And Gomer had some 15-footers he hit. He hit a big 3, got to the bucket on some shot fakes. And when he's doing that, we're a pretty good offense.
So you got a week off. EHT, of course, starts the 26th. I know you guys play Hardin County in 10 days. Have you had the chance to look at them record-wise? Kind of what do you expect from them?
Have not. Coach Stubblefield and I talked about it on the way over here. We got some time. We'll get some films on them. If they got a game, maybe go check them out. I know they play North City tonight. I'm really good friends with North City's coach, so I can call him and talk to him about them. But right now, like we try to break the season down into thirds, and that was our first third. And giving the guys some time off, we'll come back at the end of next week and get prepared for the EHT. But that's the way I've done it now for 8 years. Is we were focused on this game at the beginning of the year, this third. What are we going to do at the beginning of our year? Now we'll start talking about what's the next, and that's from the EHT through the CIT. See what we can do there, and then it's the end of the year and into the postseason. So right now, I'm gonna enjoy this. Hope the guys are going to enjoy it. We'll start thinking about Hardin County and the EHT next week.
I asked your brother last night. You're through that first third of the season. Yep. Kind of what's your overall thoughts in this first third?
So far, so good. We laid an egg once, and that was against a really good team, and I think they just punched us right square in the mouth. The guys bounced back, had a good practice yesterday, and came over here and did what we had to do. Really pleased with the guys. They've played a tough schedule. A Duke 1 team that has went and beaten a Murfreesboro team. Heron and Benton, 2 of the best, 2A team in Benton in the South, and Heron a 3A team. This is a team with a winning record that is has beaten a conference team already. So it is. I'm very pleased with where we're at. We've got to keep building. We're not done yet. Got a tough EHT coming up, and then the games in between the EHT and the CIT are tough, and then you got the stretch run after the CIT. So it's going to be a bear, but we just want to keep getting better every single day.
Thanks for your time, Coach. Talk to you in 10 days. Merry Christmas.
All right, thanks. You too, buddy.
Again, Bulldogs won last night, 52-35 over Hamilton County. And Travis, I asked Kevin, we're 1/3 of the way through this season. You get a week off here, and then it gets into the EHT, and then it's really kind of crunch time as we get into January. But kind of what's your thoughts on Carmi's season so far through this first 1/3 of the season, despite that egg they laid against Benton back on Wednesday?
I mean, it's positive results. The Heron game was a great game, just tough loss, and then that Benton game we're not going to talk about, but that's probably the only bad game they played. They've played some stretches of bad basketball, but they've limited that for the most part, and they've played, fairly good basketball this year, and which is, normally surprising with how we would have thought the season would have gone. Early on, you thought they might have struggled a little bit, and then finding their way because, adding Bryce back is such a big part of the team, and they didn't have him at the end of last year. But they've really come together as a team, and this is going to be a good year so far, and I think it's going to continue from here.
Looking at scores from around the area last night, and a couple of scores that raised my eyebrows, that's for sure. Starting off in the Platinum Conference East, Flora defeats El Dorado 50-26. We saw El Dorado beat Fairfield by about 40 points last Friday. We beat Flora by 15 last Friday, so that score, again, you can only take scores for so much. Carmi, a good chance they might see El Dorado in the second round of the EHT if both of them win their first round games, but that was really interesting to me. 50-26 final score. Flora beats El Dorado. In the Conrad Allen tournament in Wayne City, Crab Orchard defeats Edwards County 62-47. North Clay defeats Sisney 67-58, and Wayne City over Lovejoy 49-46. In the BDC West, Cesar-Villiers over Christopher 65-46. Johnson City over Ziegler Royalton 70-39. Scrolling down to the Greater Egyptian Conference, NCOE over Hardin County, 54-41. Again, the Bulldogs play Hardin County in the first round of the EHT, so a 13-point win there for the Fighting Cardinals. Pope County over Carrier Mills, 64-45. In the Little Illini Conference, Alney defeats Paris 47-43. Newton over Robinson 59-49. Lawrenceville over Marshall 71-40. Scrolling down to the River to River Conference games from last night, Pitneyville over AJ 51-39. Carterville over Nashville. The defending state champs go down to the Lions 43-35. Benton takes down West Frankfort 67-33. Massac County defeats Harrisburg by 11, 52-41. And Heron over Murfreesboro 51-32. In some non-conference games last night, Casey Westfield just gets past Fairfield 48-47. And then this one raised my eyebrows big time. Evansville Day School defeats Mount Carmel 80-52. And talking to Kevin Wolf, Mount Carmel did not have Gage Skinner, their best player, last night. But I still, Carmi's going to see Evansville Day School both in the regular season and in the CIT this year. Travis, they've got the all-time Evansville High School leading scorer in Tyler Myers. That might be a couple of good matchups here later in January.
I mean, yeah, he's that kid's a good player. I mean, he set all the records last year in the CIT. He was getting 50-point games. I mean, what else can you say? The kid is good. He can score that basketball, and Day School's always a tough matchup when they have a player like him.
Yeah, and it's always just, you never know what to expect when you're going to see a team from out of state, whether it's Mount Vernon, Indiana, or if it's Day School. But they're both going to be in the CIT this year. That's later on, third week of January. Don't have that schedule yet, but interesting to see what that's going to look like and how it's going to fare this season. We will take our first break in the morning. When we come back, we will take a look at the El Dorado Holiday Tournament bracket as we are just 9 days away from the EHT. We'll be back in a few minutes right here on the Saturday Morning Sports Show on 97.3 WRUL and 93.3 WROY AM 1460. Welcome back to the Saturday Morning Sports Show on 97.3 WRUL and 93.3 WROY AM 1460. Also online worldwide at WRUL.com. Cole Carter and Travis Black with you. JC Tinsley across the hall getting us on the air. And we are going to take a look at this year's El Dorado Holiday Tournament bracket. And again, coming up on Thursday evening is our El Dorado Holiday Tournament preview show. Me and Travis will be joined by Roger Hobbs and a couple other area broadcasters as we take a look at this year's tournament, give you our predictions on who we think will win which place, which trophy, and possibly some MVP candidates as well. Going to be a fun 3 days of basketball here later on this month, December 26th, 27th, and 28th. All 26 games can be listened to and watched on WRUL and the WRUL Sports YouTube channel. Well, Travis, let's start with the seeds first. As far as the top three, maybe top four, we talked about it last week. Weren't really surprised. Heron, undefeated, no surprise, number 1 seed. Massac, number 2 seed. Carmi, the 3, and Carterville, 4. That's pretty much what we expected from those top 4 teams.
Yeah, those are probably the best 4 teams in this in terms of talent, in terms of just, overall record. I mean, those are 4 really great basketball teams.
And then after the 4 seed, Vienna was given the 5. And then El Dorado, the home team, is the 6 seed. Anna Jonesboro, the 7. And Hamilton County was given the 8 seed. So I guess if you're seeding the last 8 teams, Harrisburg will be the 9 seed. I probably shouldn't do this on the fly. I had this typed down. I know Harrisburg is a 9 seed because they're going to play Hamilton County there in that first game of the tournament on the 26th. Let me click on my bracket here. Harrisburg is the 9 seed. That would make Fairfield the 10 seed. The 11 seed will be West Frankfort. The 12 seed, Edwards County. The 13 seed would be, where's it at? Can't find it here. 13 seed would be, I'll skip that one. 14 seed, Hardin County. The 15 seed would be Gallatin County. And the 16 seed would be Carrier Mills in this year's EHT. But looking at the games, Travis, starting off with that first day. First game, 8:30 a.m. NCOE was the 13 seed. They're going to play Carterville, the 4 seed. But first game, Hamilton County taking on Harrisburg there at 8:30. That's always the worst game to play in. I think we played in a game at 8:30. I think it was 2015 for Carmi. That's not fun when you're first one there. There's nobody in the gym except for the WRUL sports crew and the diehard EHT fans. But and that could be probably the best game of the first day. That 8-9 game is always interesting. Harrisburg, I know, is I wouldn't say in a rebuild spot, but a brand new head coach. Randy Smith-Peters no longer there. Haven't seen them play yet. I know they lost to Massac by only 11 points last night. Hamilton County didn't play their best game last night, but that could be a great game, first game of the tournament.
Yeah, that's gonna be a dogfight. I mean, there's really not much of an atmosphere there on the first game, that 8:30 day. I mean, or the 8:30 game on the first day. I mean, it's a little bit dead. There's not many people out there, and it's kind of day after Christmas. Kids are just getting warmed up. They haven't probably played in about a week or so. 'Cause, there's always that long layoff, so it's a tough game to play. But those two teams it's probably going to be a great game. I mean, Hamilton County last night showed a lot in that first half against Carmi. They played it to a 1 point difference in the game last night in the first half, and then the second half was a little bit different story. But they're still a good team in Harrisburg. I mean, they're always good, even for a new head coach, and I mean, it's still going to be. They're always good. They're just always good. They're always well coached, even though Coach Randy Smith-Peters is gone. I still think that's going to be a really great game.
Definitely have a tough break for this 8-9 game, because if you win, you're going to get the right to play Heron, the 1 seed in the second round. But if you lose, I think the loser of that Hamilton County Harrisburg game has a pretty darn good chance of at least making it to the Constellation Championship, which in this tournament, Travis, no matter what seed you get, no matter who you play, you can bring home a trophy. That's a positive. It takes a really good team to win this tournament, but if you can bring home 3rd place, 5th place, Constellation, something to be happy about.
Yeah, it's one of the longest running tournaments in Illinois. So any type of hardware you can bring home from it, it's always a positive.
So the 8:30 game is the 8 seed Hamilton County against the 9 seed Harrisburg. Then at 10 o'clock might be the biggest barn burner of the week probably. I'm just kidding. Heron plays Carrier Mills. Carrier Mills it's just a tough year for them. Heron will take care of that one easily, which would give us a matchup of Heron against Hamilton County or Harrisburg in the second round. At 11:30, Game 3 on Monday, the 4 seed Carterville against a 13 seed NCOE. We saw the Cardinals last week against Carmi, and I think the Cardinals didn't play their best game. Carmi won that game by 30, but I think North City, if they can get Preston Long, Joel Horton to get going, Carterville's a great team, but again, I think NCOE, if they play well, lose a hard-fought game there, they themselves could see a possible chance to get that consolation prize on the left side of the bracket.
Yeah, I mean, they have a good shot at that consolation championship as well. I mean, not to write them off against Carterville just yet, but Carterville's a really great basketball team. They could make it a close game, and I mean, that's something to hold your head up. If you only lose by 10 points to a team as good as Carterville, I mean, that's always a positive.
The game number 4 at 1:45 on Monday, Vienna will take on Edwards County. Vienna 7-1 so far in the year. I don't know if they played last night. Didn't see if they won, but as far as their resume, who they've played, they don't really have a signature win, but they played pretty well in their host tournament. They lost to Massac in the championship. That's been their only loss so far this year. So I thought they were pretty deserving of that 5 seed. Edwards County, I haven't seen them play yet. I know they've been competitive in games in the BDC so far this year. I still think Vienna will probably get the edge in that game. And again, broken record. If you're Edwards County, you look at the left side of the bracket, you're playing teams that are about your size. Possible NCOE matchup, a Harrisburg or a Hamilton County there on the second round, the consolation side. They have a chance to possibly make a consolation run.
Yeah, I mean, that top side of the bracket is competitive on both sides. So, the winner side for those, seeded teams it's going to be, good games. And then even the, non-seeded teams and on that left side of the bracket, it's still going to be good games. I mean, they match up well. Talent-wise, they match up well. So we're just going to see some good basketball over those 3 days.
It's first time in a long time that I remember that Fairfield is not seeded this year in the EHT. They're not seeded. They're going to play Anna Jonesboro, the 7th seed at 3:15 on that Monday. Just been a rough year for Fairfield. Eric Rogers is pretty much their go-to guy. It seems like every year they're just graduating more and more. He's a senior this year. They lost last night to Casey Westfield by 1 point. Lost earlier in the week to Hamilton County. Just been one of those years that Coach McWaver just trying to get his guys going. And it's a long season. He's a great coach. I think by the end of the year, they'll get playing a little bit better basketball towards CIT time. But Anna Jonesboro in the 7th seed, they're taking on Fairfield. Then at 4:45 on Monday, Massac County will take on Gallatin County. Patriots have looked fantastic this year as well. Only one loss on their resume. That was to Murfreesboro last week. Then the nightcap at 7 o'clock, El Dorado will take on West Frankfort. The Eagles are the 6th seed. Carmi, the 3 seed, will face Hardin County at 8:30. And then the red-eye game at 10 o'clock, you'll go back to the top side of the bracket. It'll be the loser of Harrisburg, Hamilton County against probably Carrier Mills for that 10 p.m. game. Travis, starting with El Dorado and Carmi, 2 BDC teams. They're on the same quadrant there. Dorado, the 6th seed, Carmi, the 3 seed. Eagles will play West Frankfort. Bulldogs will play Hardin County. If things go as planned, if both teams take care of business, which I think they will, you're going to see a matchup between El Dorado and Carmi in the second round once again. That'd be the 3rd straight year these two teams play in the tournament.
Yeah, then that's a BDC rivalry. El Dorado's always tough to beat in their tournament. I mean, they have the the home crowd advantage. I mean, that's 8:30 game. That's going to be a good game.
Yep.
House will be packed, and I mean, It's always a battle when Carmi faces El Dorado. It's just one of those matchups that you can just write it down. It's going to be, highly contested, highly physical game, and it's going to, be a barn burner, nail biter.
Not trying to look ahead too much, but we're announcers. We can do that. Carmi being the 3 seed, you knew if Carmi was going to have a chance to win the tournament, they're going to have to beat either Heron or Massac or both. That's probably how it's going to be, because if they were to beat Hardin County, if they were to beat El Dorado in the second round, you're probably going to see Massac there in the third round at 1:30 on Wednesday. And I'd be really curious to see how we would fare against Massac. Looking at scores of Massac, I know they're a great ball club. Joe Hospin's son, Isaac Hospin, is a fantastic all-state caliber player. But they're going to be very similar to a Benton or a Heron. And I think we made the good point last night, Travis, that if you're Carmi and people in the area are talking, they lose to Benton by 34. This team maybe isn't what they were advertised. And I told you, I said, if you're Carmi, not only do you want to win this game against Hamilton County, but you want to come in here and win by 30. Well, they won by 17 points, which you'll take. But I think if Carmi really wants to make a statement, make a run in the CHT. Rather it's winning the championship, rather it's winning third place. If you can come into this tournament, take care of business against Hardin County, beat El Dorado on their home floor, and put up a good fight against Massac County, whether you win or lose, I think it's really going to make a statement in terms of the area and some of the best teams in the area.
Yeah, I mean, they have to, if they want, any type of respect and Southern Illinois coming up in this tournament. If they make a good run, I mean, everyone's going to start fearing them again. I mean, you could look at also as a positive the other night against Benton. Massac might take them a little lighter. They're like, well, they lost by 30 to Benton, and we're going to play Benton at some point. We're going to beat them by so many. And they just might look at Carmi as lesser than, and then Carmi gets a surprise on them. That's one way to look at it. But Carmi has a good opportunity to make a deep run in this tournament, and I think from last night's win, if they can keep building off that, I mean, they have a good shot at it.
So we'll go over this again on Thursday, but I'll go ahead and ask you right now. I've got my winners picked out. I don't know if you've gotten that far. You're a busy man. Consolation Championship, you got a winner picked out yet?
Not yet.
Not yet. You got time. You still got time. By Thursday, have that picked out, though. Okay. I had Fairfield originally, but I think if Fairfield can't turn things around, I'm going to give it to the loser of that Hamilton County Harrisburg game, that first game. Loser of that, to me, gets the Diana. I'll have to get out my actual written down bracket to see how that fares. But I'm going to have them losing in the second round to Carterville and eventually going back to win the fifth place bracket. Third place bracket, I think it's going to be Carmi in my eyes. I think if they get to the third round, have a hard-fought loss against Massac County that would face off with a 3-4 matchup in the third place game between them and Carterville. I got the Bulldogs there, and I think Heron's going to win it again this year. We saw Heron a couple weeks ago there in the DuQuoin Tip-Off Classic. I still think they're the best team in Southern Illinois, and I'd love to see them in Massac playing a championship game. I think it'd be fun.
Yeah, a little bit of a rematch. I mean, those teams had a great game last year, and I mean, I can't expect nothing less than the best this year.
So again, this year's EHT begins on December 26th. You can catch all 26 games right here on 97.3 WRUL and on the WRUL Sports YouTube channel. And again, our EHT preview show will be this coming Thursday evening at 7 p.m. We will then replay the show next Saturday on Christmas Eve at 9 a.m. We'll go ahead and take another break here on the show. We come back, we'll take a look at next week's sports schedule and our Terrible 10 Pick'em right here on the Saturday Morning Sports Show on 97.3 WRUL and 93.3 WROY AM 1460. There's nothing going on next week. Everybody's got the week off, with Tuesday being the last day for school here in Carmi. So with that, we'll go ahead and jump into our Terrible 10 Pick'ems for this week. Travis, he's kicking my butt. He went 8-2 last week. I went 5-5. I'm in a hole. He's 22-8 overall. I'm 14-16. So I'm already starting to get my arm loose to wave the flag. But we'll go ahead and get our Terrible 10 Pick'ems. 5 college basketball games going on today, and then 5 NFL games, a few of them today, and then a few of them tomorrow. Travis, I'll start with you. These rankings are up to date. Number 14, Indiana. At number 8, Kansas. Who do you got?
I want to go Indiana, but I'm going to go Kansas.
Kansas, again, I believe it is at Kansas. I will also go with the Jayhawks here.
I think the
Hoosiers are having a good year, but that's a tough place to play.
Yeah.
Another game today in college basketball, number 14, Alabama, at number 15, Gonzaga. Give me the Crimson Tide here. I'm going with Bama, the number 14.
Tide here?
I'm going to roll Tide here.
You're going to roll Tide.
On the road at Gonzaga.
Ooh, I'm going to go Gonzaga then.
You're going to go with the Zags. Fair enough.
I always pick them in the regular season. It's a good money bet. And then,
True. They always do great in the regular season. Top 5 matchup, number 5, Houston at number 2, Virginia. I picked Houston last week, and they lost. I'm going with Virginia here.
As am I.
So Travis will also take Virginia. Number 16, UCLA at number 13, Kentucky. Give me the Cats.
You want UK? I'm gonna go UCLA on this one.
With UCLA, okay. And then number 6, Tennessee at number 9, Arizona. I will take Arizona at home. Did I pick Tennessee last week to win and they lost? Or I think I picked them to lose and they won.
They won.
I probably should switch that, but I'm not going to.
I'm going to go with Tennessee.
You'll go with Tennessee, and you'll probably get all those right, if I had to guess. All right, NFL games, 2 of them today, 3 of them tomorrow. Ravens at the Browns later on this afternoon. With no Lamar Jackson in the game being in Cleveland, I hate to do this, but give me Cleveland.
I'm gonna go Browns. I am as well. I think the Ravens are down to their 3rd string quarterback with Lamar Jackson out and Tyler Huntley out.
I think Huntley is going to play,
is he?
But Deshaun Watson, the Browns, they need to win to really keep their playoff hopes alive if they have any left. But I'm going to go Cleveland here. It's always a tough place to play in Cleveland. Dolphins at the Bills. I saw this morning there's already about 3 feet of snow on the ground in that game. Miami can't play in the snow. Give me the Bills.
With the Bills, I'm going to go with the Bills as well. I think Josh Allen, big arms, going to be able to at least throw the ball through some of that snow, and maybe able to run the ball a little better than Miami will.
Couple of interesting games on Sunday. First one, Lions at the Jets. Lions have come out of nowhere. They're putting themselves on a spot to possibly make the playoffs, even beat your Vikings last week,
Well,
Travis.
we're not going to talk about that game. Just move on past it.
To me, the Jets, I'm picking the Lions here. The Jets don't really have a quarterback. They're going to play Zach Wilson. The Lions are one of the hottest teams in football right now. Give me Detroit.
I'm also going to go with the Lions. I mean, Mike White's out. Zach Wilson's getting the start. Jets have a great defense. Lions have a great offense. I think the offense is going to win in this case.
Another game, Cardinals at the Broncos. Kyler Murray tore his ACL back on Monday. Denver just has been a circus all season long. Give me Arizona here, though, on the road.
Ooh, I'm going to go with... I think I'm going to take the Cardinals as well. I got more, got more invested. I got Hollywood Brown on my fantasy team, so I need him to go off.
A big game. Final terrible 10 pick'em game. The Bengals at the Bucks. I'm going Bengals. Bengals are one of the hottest teams in the league right now, and the Buccaneers just are not a good football team right now.
I'm also going to go with the Bengals. The Bucks is, they're kind of aging, it seems like. I mean, Tom Brady's not, but the rest of the team is, and that makes sense to me. A 45-year-old still playing, good football with his, 15-year younger teammates are kind of struggling.
And Joe Burrow and the Bengals, they've just been tearing things up lately. And ever since they beat the Steelers a couple of weeks ago, Joe Burrow he can't be stopped. Jamar Chase is back. And I hate to say it, but they are one of the best teams in the NFL right now. I thought Bengals and best team in the NFL would go in the same sentence, but man, I've reached that point in my life. Well, we're going to wrap things up a little bit early this morning, and I'll tell you why. This guy to my left, Travis Black, big day today. He is graduating college today. So, Travis, I want to tell you live on the air, want to surprise you. Congratulations. College graduation day. I know you're really excited about this 3-hour-long ceremony you're about to go through. But
the most excited.
But hey, in all reality, it's a fantastic honor. It's not an easy thing to do. We both know that. Yeah. But congratulations, buddy. You deserve it.
All right. Thank you.
So with that, we're going to go ahead and wrap things up for this morning. Again, our EHT preview show is coming up on Thursday night at 7 p.m. Tune in live for that. And if you can't tune in live, we will have the replay of that show a week from this morning, next Saturday at 9 a.m. We get you ready for this year's El Dorado Holiday Tournament. And again, the EHT can be listened to and watched on WRUL this year, as well as the WRUL Sports YouTube channel. We're going to enjoy the next week with no ball games to cover. Make sure my voice gets some rest, and then we'll kick things back off again on the 26th for the EHT. So big thanks to JC Tinsley across the hall getting us on the air. For Travis Black, I'm Cole Carter. Have a great weekend, sports fans.